Hello and welcome back to our second round coverage from the 2018 Ed Headrick Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic presented by RecTech Grills. We are here at the PDGA headquarters, the International Disc Golf Center in Appling, Georgia. Big Sexy commentary here with you, Nate Sexton and Jeremy Koling.
And Johnny and Paul shifting up to the top of the leaderboard. Ricky with a couple bogeys on the front nine, but able to save some good pars as well. And Eagle with a bogey-free 3 under, staying in the mix.
Hole 10, par 4, 606 feet, breaking to the right. You'd like to have your turnover backhand or forehand get up to about this area where you can see the pin. And then you've got a few options, dead straight backhand, flex forehand, a couple different alleys to try to get up here to the green. It's not the longest par 4, so it's pretty manageable for these guys.
Yeah, it's not the longest, like you said, but I think getting a lot of distance off the tee here is crucial because the second shot is so tricky. There's just trees scattered across the fairway, and if you can make your life easier by taking a lot of that distance off and having a really short approach, I think it's more paramount in this hole than maybe on other approaches.
Nice little bounce out for Paul there. His destroyer was a little tight on the forehand line, but it bounced to the fairway, so he should be having a stand-up shot anyway. Johnny pushes the long side of the fairway. As you can see, just so many fairway trees here. Ricky forehand felon around the wide route.
Yeah, and he's not going for a ton of distance with that felon, just trying to play a pitch-up landing zone shot there, whereas Eagle is trying to rip a hyzer flip.
But it's going straight, huh?
If this gets a little bit of fade, yeah, on the edge of the fairway is okay. He can lean out and throw some sort of flex sidearm from there, but yeah, the shot that we saw him throw yesterday was just ridiculous.
And Ricky going straight at it, weaving his way through. It didn't really look like he had a gap pick there, but he's through.
Doesn't matter when you're Ricky Wysocki sometimes.
Really, anybody on the lead card playing good golf, you know, sometimes you hope to have those weeks where I've certainly had them, where the trees just don't bother me.
Johnny catching the tree. Certainly something was bothering him there with that, but he's actually still inside 40 feet.
Look at Paul's drive.
Going back door there with the Nova. Or that wasn't a Nova, was it?
I'm not sure.
Looked like it actually might have been a Rock 3. And Eagle with a nice low driving and hyzer sidearm approach to about 15 feet. That was a great approach shot there.
Turbo master himself. No idea why.
I don't either.
But it works. I mean, you cannot question the effectiveness.
They got that pampas grass in Florida everywhere, and the baskets are sometimes positioned near them, and you got to throw a putt that gets over them and gets down in a hurry, and the turbo's a great way to do that. But you see a lot of players down there in Johnny's neck of the woods in Florida that are throwing that turbo, but of course they're going to. I mean, they're influenced by one of the greatest players ever.
Yep.
And Ricky and Paul able to pick up their birdies. Johnny and Eagle save their pars.
Hole 11, par 3, 420 feet, breaking right the entire way. This is a new hole and kind of a fun one, I think. A tough, long par 3 that's sort of an interesting line that we don't see very often, where you really have to hold that turnover for a really, really long time. So this one, you're going to see understable drivers usually being thrown, probably fairway speed, and these guys are going to try to finish right with that shot. I don't expect to see a forehand. It's a little bit far and too much to the right, maybe.
And uphill. Oh, man. I was looking good, but yeah, there's just those trees that are just in the way there. And that's the same exact tree that Paul hit. It's just right in the way. And the reason that's right in the way is because there's this low-hanging limb up and to the left. You see it come into play right there, and Johnny actually hits it. And without that being in the way, the players could go with a higher, maybe a more understable disc out wider. But with that being there, players have to go low line drive, and it really brings those early right trees into play. And Eagle just shanks it and gets the worst kick I've ever seen.
I have no idea what's even over there. All these guys got major kicks. Good work by the spotters if they find all these. Nicely done from Paul. Sets himself up for a 25-footer.
And Eagle, what? Where is he?
He's a little long now.
Okay.
That's going to be tough.
About 28 feet away, though. Inside the circle, at least. And these players are finding ways through the safari, through the jungle, up to the green. There's Johnny, who's going to have his par. So we've got a slightly longer putt for Paul and Eagle. Eagle's obviously a little bit more obstructed here. Oh, but that's a great putt. Keeping that bogey-free round alive. Incredibly difficult hole to birdie for the National Tour field here. 0% of the field parked, only 13% inside the regulation, inside the circle in regulation, which is a very low number considering it's just 420 feet. It's pretty open. I mean, there are a lot of trees, around the edge of the fairway, but
it's just so far to the right. It's a hole shape that we don't see that often.
13% of the field birdied the hole, 84% par. You almost never see a hole with that high a par percentage.
So that's kind of crazy.
3% bogey.
Hole 12, par 5, 990 feet. This one is a tough one. You want to go with a very straight driver. You will see people go to a distance driver, try to get really aggressive, and maybe even play for the Eagle 3. But what's paramount is just staying in the grass. If you get in the rough off the drive, a lot of things are going to happen that you're not going to like after that, trying to throw your forehand roller out or get out in any way you can. Then you have the decision, go the way the drone flew here, that tighter gap, kind of making the hole shorter, or you can play a little bit wider around the outside. I wouldn't be surprised if we see players do both of those things on this card.
Paul with a really wide tee shot. If it starts the hyzer, it could be in that ideal spot, though, and it does.
Wow.
Yep, he's going to like that. And yesterday, Ricky had a perfect drive on the hole. This one's looking really nice as well. If it skips, no, it just gets a straight skip, so that's going to be...
Great distance, but it's going to be a little tricky from there.
And yesterday we asked John E, if you're going to 3 this hole, please do it when we can get some video documentation. Don't think he's going to repeat the act with that drive, but still, I mean, just thinking about 3ing this hole with 2 air shots and a 10-foot putt, it's awesome.
Eagle drifting right as well. All of our players testing that right side.
Oh, Eagle kicked down right there by the feet of our spectator.
Johnny going into the wider gap.
What a shot.
Nice shot, Johnny.
That was fantastic. I mean, that was really, really tough. Eagle, I think, is going to take the aggressive gap here, go through the straight shot. It's not really much of a choice for him to access the other one from this position. Couldn't tell where that went. I'm guessing left. Ricky with a nice shot.
Good shot, Rick. Yeah.
And Paul's got to look up that narrow inside alley. He's going with a flip up here. Doesn't quite get the disc all the way. Well, he actually did get it quite flat.
Almost.
Yeah, that was a great effort. I think the disc is a little bit more understable than I gave it credit for. That was working hard.
T-bird 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what?
Wow. What a shot.
To make that. Great throw.
Eagle will have 20 feet left for his birdie. Ricky just making magic happen with that harp.
Nice shot. Perfect example of how to play from a bad position that he was in. Not going for too much out of there. Just setting himself up, trusting his skills. It was a bit of an errant shot.
Just drifted that a bit left and Paul from 71 feet for his eagle.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
That is so close.
Oh, man. Half inch. Great run.
No problem. This group is really putting on a clinic from inside 40.
Mm-hmm. Well, Paul did have a few misses on the front nine, uncharacteristic of him, but
Yeah.
he's still playing a great round. And McCray's going to hold on to his lead here. Or actually, is Paul about to tie him?
No, Johnny made a
Yeah,
birdie.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, Ricky. Okay, just as soon as we say something about
sorry,
inside
Rick.
the,
That's my fault. That's on me. You guys need to stop putting so good if you don't want me to talk about it.
Well, okay, so like if a commentator in football talks about how this field goal kicker has made every field goal from inside 50, you know he's going to miss it.
Yeah.
This happened yesterday, so I don't think you can take as much blame.
Yeah, it's not like it's live.
It's not real time, so I mean, I'm
True,
sorry if we're ruining the magic for you right now at home, folks, but this is post-production.
Hole 13, par 3, 399, going to the right to an elevated pin up on a mound. Low forehand skipper is probably the best play here. Try to stay away from the trees. You just got to get around these last couple on the right side here and hit this gap that the drone is about to fly. Like to get as close as possible. As I said, elevated pin, always a little tougher to make those long putts.
I just remembered that Paul had birdied hole 10 and tied Johnny on hole 10. That's why I was kind of tripping out. Look how wide Paul has kept this. Oh, the great skip up to the pin.
Wow. Loving it.
That is so good. Really trusting this left side here.
Yeah, out of the hand, I honestly don't like it that much, but it's obviously perfect. You know, it's a lot wider than I would expect.
No, I would never feel comfortable throwing that line, but no tree where it was ever even close to hitting the disc.
Yeah. Here is the backhand method. And just a couple. It's hard. You can't really get around those last two trees with the backhand. You've got to just hope that you can navigate past them.
I think best case scenario is really like a 30-foot drive with a backhand.
Eagle with a little bit tighter line as opposed to Paul's. Ooh, skip might have been a little too high, but still he's putting. You'd like to see that skip not hit a pine cone and go a little bit more direct.
We saw a very early release from Ricky yesterday. He's made the adjustment, but that's still way too early to work.
Yeah.
And a second straight round, he's having to throw an approach, and he's going to have quite a bit left there for his par.
Nice try. Kind of a trick putt there from Johnny around the trees.
Finally made a putt.
Ricky liked the putt, but too many things in the way.
Eagle and Paul in for birdie. Ricky will bogey.
Paul is taking his first lead of the tournament.
Hole 14, par 5, 837 feet. Tough tunnel drive here of about 350 to 380 feet. You want to stay through the middle, hyzer a little bit at the end, and find this landing area. If you do that, your work is not done. You've got to move hard left and then finish extremely hard right. So it's braking 2 times here. Super, super tough to get up there for eagle, though it can be done if you have the great drive and then a big skipping shot or a roller on the second. But that woods on the right has an incredible ability to kind of lull players into not worrying too much about it. And then you go in there and next thing you know, you're taking a bogey. You really have to be careful of playing too aggressive on the approach shot and putting yourself in those woods.
Paul matching his disc to his pants once again.
Yeah, I changed back into the green pants. That's cool.
Right there in the middle. Perfect tee shot. An eagle going mid. This time committing a little bit too much, maybe, and drifting off to the right side, but should have a full throw. If not, he'll have a standstill sidearm and should be able to get to his spot from there. Oh, a couple good kicks there. Keep Johnny in the fairway.
Little early release. And this is looking good from Ricky. A little bit hyzer would be nice. There it is. Johnny with another forehand.
Yeah, it needs the stop hyzering. That's going to be a tricky angle to get his third shot anywhere near the pin.
Eagle from the woods. Pitching out. Nicely done. Again, the angle will be tough from there, though. Cool thing happened in my group. Maybe around this spot. Like a pretty good drive, not an insane drive. All four of us in a 10-foot circle.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty crazy.
That is pretty cool.
Paul with a beautiful turnover. Where are we?
We're looking at a second straight eagle putt for Paul in these par fives.
And here's that roller effort. It's a little too soon on the turn, I'm afraid. Should be far enough through the woods that he's got no problem for birdie. Maybe even some kind of eagle look. I don't know. Yeah. He is Rick. He can do that.
Johnny with a standstill has to go super wide, super late flip. It's not going to get all the turn he needs. It's going to be a long birdie putt from there, but he's pretty much all but secured a easy par at worst. Surprising to see Eagle go backhand and hyzer there. I thought that he might go with the sidearm, overstable, skippy inside line there, but
yeah,
electing to go with the safer and hyzer play, I suppose. Perhaps to avoid that early inside that you're talking about that can be pretty tricky.
Yeah. 80 feet for birdie.
Oh, wow. Yes. Wow. Awesome putt. What a birdie save. You just never in position, really, until the disc was in the basket.
Amazing. Paul for eagle. Not quite. And this is a birdie look.
Commit to your line, dude.
Eagle going to clean up a par.
And Ricky will have just this little bit of work left for his birdie.
Hole 15, par 4, 714 feet, 2 fairways here. You can play a wide forehand line or play this turnover backhand where the drone is flying, trying to ideally get up near the top of this hill with a huge drive. But once you're here, there's no gap. I'm not sure. I don't know what you're supposed to do from there. You can definitely navigate a disc through, but it's like there's really not a fairway here. If you play the left side, there's a little more available. But so many trees on this hole late. It's just, I guess just get as far as you can and try to figure it out.
Cartographers are still trying to map out a line to this pin. They have been unsuccessful in doing so yet. But Paul decides to just maybe... Michael Sullivan just looks at the drive like, what the heck was that?
That was a bomb.
I've seen a lot of good drives in this hole, but that's a top fiver right there. Johnny heavy on the turn. That's going to be off the edge of the fairway. Quick shout out back to hole 14 for a moment for James Conrad and Austin Hannum, who picked up the 2 eagles the hole has seen so far this weekend.
Nice.
And Ricky well across the ditch there. That's a great shot. Oh, wow. Is that farther than Paul's?
Huge.
Might be the same distance, but it's off to the right, so it's not quite as perfect as Paul's was.
Johnny unable to really escape cleanly there to the fairway, but still a long way to go.
That's going to drift left. Johnny's going to be left with a long par approach, most likely going to be taking a bogey in hole 15, the second hardest hole in the course, averaging a 4.34. This is a really tricky hole to get that birdie on. And Ricky's trying to do it 2 straight days in a row.
Wow.
Yesterday he had a tap in. This is going to have to require a little bit more work, but he's inside the circle. And that's just the problem. It's like, how do you...
Like, well, look at the reward that Eagle and Paul are getting for just incredible drives. It's like, oh, go stand back to the basket. And I mean, this is a phenomenal shot.
That's unreal.
No question.
Yeah.
But come on. Those drives were huge. Eagle threw it. He laced a wood shot 450 feet.
And then had to throw some tricky, skippy, flippy, dippy. Maybe these guys should have gone back to 2003 and printed out something at MapQuest and gave himself a little bit better directions to the pin.
Another big time turbo. Wow.
Ricky from 30 feet. Pick up the big time birdie.
Nice. He's heating up.
2 holes. 2 days in a row on this hole with a birdie. That's gaining 2 strokes at least.
Yeah.
On the average player. Almost 3.
Johnny has a bogey here. Paul, easy birdie. Great. Amazing tee shot. Great touch on the second.
And as great as that tee shot was, the approach was almost more impressive in that he had to stand with his back to the basket and throw this soft, floaty, blind downhill approach that just missed all the trees and somehow on a downhill green still slowed down enough to stay within 15 feet. So incredible overall.
Hole 16, par 3, 297, going uphill and to the right. You've got OB Creek on the right. So you have to be careful of that off a tree kick. But if you can go either side of this main pine tree here. Backhands maybe would prefer to take the right side, forehands perhaps on the outside. Really just trying to get the disc up through that initial gap and move a little bit to the right without hitting a tree. But there is many trees to miss. Paul looks like he's going backhand. And he's actually going the wide route, perhaps on accident. This could be... wow. So that I thought that might push OB, but actually it's fine.
Wow. Ricky, not quite choosing left or right today, hits the big tree.
And that isn't OB. I didn't see an OB graphic. It looked like it was going to go OB, but...
Yeah, right at the bottom of that hill. Eagle going back door, just getting around it. And for a second straight day, a great drive. About 25 feet from the pin.
Johnny, nice turnover here. Wow.
Almost hits the pin, and there you go. You see that backside of the green. It is fast, but Johnny had just enough overcut that stopped the disc by turning it into the ground.
Good birdie effort from Rick.
Get up. God.
Paul with a lengthy birdie putt coming up just short. Oh, an eagle off to the right side, missing well, actually, I was going to say the lone birdie, but Johnny's got to look at the lone birdie now. He makes good. Bring back one of those strokes that McBeth has taken from him recently.
Paul after a little roll away, not too punishing though. In for par.
Keeping his 2-stroke clearance of the rest of the card here in check, but we do have Greg Barsby from Chase Card putting together a solid round so far, and actually I believe he is in the clubhouse right now with a 1-stroke lead over Paul.
Wow. Hole 17, par 4, 588 through an incredibly narrow tunnel. You've got to get almost to the top of this hill before you really have any chance. As you can see, that rough on the right is really, really thick, so you need to get a lot of distance to have any kind of play up here to the green. Super, super difficult birdie. You just want to stay in the middle as best you can, and you can kind of get a pretty easy par out of it, but you've got to take some risk if you want that birdie.
Oh, Johnny with the bad kickoff to the left. I don't understand how 22% of the field is birding this hole. It is such a tough hole.
Yeah, that sounds like way too high of a number.
And Paul with a perfect shot. That's one of the ways to get in that 22 percentile.
Even that's not, I mean, he's not out. He's going to have a play for sure, but he's not open to the pin.
And Ricky with a phenomenal drive, keeping it a little bit further left, which is exactly what you want if you want to be able to see the pin.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that little backspin coming back down the hill. Needs to stop. That is such a good shot. That is such a good shot. That is so hard to do with the forehand, to keep it straight and not finish right.
Yeah.
Anything that goes right is in danger. Wow.
Johnny is in the woods.
He's going over to the right side fairway, which is a little bit more open, playing up old hole 16's fairway and having his trouble right now, but he's finally out into the fairway.
He should have a pretty easy bogey save from there, but certainly not what he was looking for, especially with the other players in the group knocking on the door for birdies here.
Wow. Wow.
Nice and easy.
It's so good. To trust that up the hill, over the hill, turn over, down the hill, shot like that, to just land it next to the pin. I mean, that's just such good touch. Great shot from Eagle as well, but I mean, kind of looks pedestrian next to Paul's shot just before it.
This is going to be nice.
Three great shots there from our lead card here, and Johnny's going to have quite a bit of distance left to save his.
This is for par.
That's for par. Okay. Yeah. No putting heroics here on hole 17 for Johnny. Going to have to settle for bogey. And Eagle's in for his birdie. You don't see many sidearm righties off the tee get into a spot where they can get their birdie. That's not more impressive than Ricky and Paul's birdie because it's still a birdie, but to me, I have a little bit more appreciation for it just because I go forehand off this tee and I hardly ever get to a spot where I'm even close to looking at the pin.
Yeah.
Do you go backhand off this tee?
No.
You go
too
forehand?
Scared. Yeah, the gap is so small. I try to do what Eagle did, but I always fail. Maybe not today.
Yeah, today's going to be a great day for you, Nate.
I hope so. Hole 18, par 5, 726 feet, going way uphill. This one's got a narrow gap straight ahead. There's also kind of a hyzer play for if you wanted to play super safe, but I expect all these guys will go up the middle. Try to get as far up here as possible. If you can get past these two little trees right here on the right side, you are set up to go for an Eagle 3. Just got to execute another tunnel shot, kind of going up the hill, and it flattens out here late. Really bad rough on both sides. Just want to stay in the middle as much as possible, but I would expect these guys to at least be getting putts for eagles as well as they're throwing the disc today.
All drifting.
Oh no.
And
That's pretty bad.
That could cost him a realistic, well, it really all depends on what gap he has on the second shot, but that almost puts him out of position to get that birdie.
Beautiful shot.
That is ideal. Ricky will have a hyzer shot from there to the pin. An eagle early tree. Again, it's too early to tell until we see what their lie looks like, whether or not they'll have a look up the fairway to get to the position to save their birdie. But it is a save on this hole. This is the easiest hole in the course. This is a hole you expect to be, at the very least, looking at an easy birdie putt. It's definitely difficult from here. Paul has got a nice height, nice speed.
Fantastic.
And he's back in the fairway, and he is back in business. That's probably 300 feet from the pin still.
Come on, man. Why?
Forehand roller, perhaps. Should stop in the fairway.
Johnny with good eagle position here and a really good looking line to get to that eagle putt.
Wow.
Ricky pushing that back edge.
Oh, no.
And the kick off to the right.
And that could really go from the perfect spot to struggling to even get back for par is probably pretty likely, but birdie might be really tough.
Sure. And Paul just...
What a save.
Two incredible shots after the errant tee shot, and it looks like he'll be finishing with a birdie to reclaim that one-stroke lead over Greg, who's in the clubhouse at 17 under.
Eagle crushing on that a little bit.
And look at that.
What a shot.
Jeez.
Fantastic from Rick.
And this is for eagle.
Oh,
Johnny.
Man.
Didn't lift his arm enough.
Easy birdie, but that stings.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good as a birdie should feel. Do have to give a shout out to Garrett Girthy, Chris Dickerson for their eagles. Also to James Conrad, who had a double eagle performance during round two.
Yeah, but James may have done something never before seen in disc golf history, casual or tournament. 5 under for the round, 15 pars, 2 eagles and a birdie. I doubt if it's ever... I doubt anyone has ever had 15 pars and been 5 under, ever, anywhere.
That's... in disc golf or golf.
Ever. It's pretty crazy.
Wow, incredible.
And here you see our scores. Paul at -18 so far, as we said, 1-shot lead. We'll get to the leaderboard here. Greg in second, Chris Dickerson and Johnny rounding out our final round coverage.
Smoking hot 7 down for Paul McBeth to take that 1-stroke lead.
Wow. All right, guys, USDGC giveaway winners. As we promised, you see your name on that list. Get happy. You just won.
And also, we will be announcing our Patreon winners tomorrow during the final round. So good luck to all our Patreon, and thank you so much for being a follower of JomezPro on Patreon and all the other social media, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you check in tomorrow for the conclusion of the 2018 Disc Golf Hall of Fame Classic.